Welcome to Tailor-Made Chaos. On this podcast, we'll bring you some of the highest flyers and most interesting people in and around the fitness industry. We'll talk and laugh with CEOs, franchisee groups, exercise specialists, and to those who work in sales and marketing, and we'll share their insights and knowledge of all things related to the business of fitness. Love what you hear? Make sure you like and subscribe to keep up to date. On with today's show, proudly brought to you in conjunction with Fit Into Shape, a small but dedicated team of fitness industry professionals, delivering on all of your fitness equipment and gym design needs.
3, 2, 1.
And in an effort to maximize the international budget that I have with Tailor-Made Chaos, we are at RMS Part 3 or Part C of Everyone Needs a Spotter's Cast. This is the infamous Steve the Don Donadio. Steve, give yourself an introduction. Who is Steve the Don Donadio?
Man, what an intro. And thanks for having me a part of your Tailor-Made Chaos.
It's chaos.
Indeed. I'm honored to be a part of it and glad to have you here at our headquarters. I'm Steven Donadio. I've been nicknamed the Don Donadio for a long time, since middle school. I've been with RMS Fitness I'm working on my 20th year. So I've been with RMS Fitness for a long time, and my journey here has been interesting. I've been doing a lot of trades to get to this point, a lot of different professions, and then ended up in the fitness industry, and going on almost 20 years.
Yeah, so I mean, let's step back in history.
Yeah.
You talked about middle school before. In school, were you an athletic kid or a sports kid, or what type of kid were you?
Yeah, good question. So ever since I was little, high energy. I was always a high energy kid, and I remember my mom was struggling to keep up with me, my parents, just because of the amount of energy that I had. And back in the 80s, Ritalin was a big thing back in the 80s, and I was, the doctors were trying to put me on Ritalin because my energy was extreme, so they were assuming that I had some sort of issues, but my parents kind of like refused to give me that type of stuff, and eventually, I grew out of it. It's just boys, and energy can be a thing, but as I grew older, I put my energy towards sports. I did a lot of soccer. Looking at me, you would think I'm American, but I was born here in the U.S., but my family are all Argentinians, Italians, so I'm Spanish and Italian by heritage. But yeah, growing up, going back to the sports thing, did a lot of soccer, hence the Argentinian in me. Did a lot of baseball, a lot of basketball, anything that I could do to stay outdoors, to burn the energy. That's what I did. Even fishing, anything that I could get my hand on that I enjoyed, I did.
So Maradona's a hero?
Yeah, Maradona and now Messi. Messi is definitely Messi brought it home, winning some championships, some World Cups. It's good to see. And unfortunately, Maradona couldn't stick around. Passed away before he could see what Messi brought.
He lived a big life. So
He did.
not that I'm an expert on his history, but he lived a big life. So
yeah, big character, big life. Even got to coach one of the World Cups. I thought that was pretty cool for him. But it was good. It was cool to see. And what a World Cup, man!
Yeah,
that was the roller coaster of emotions. I can't remember ever experiencing that level of intensity and the difference. The highs and lows of that game, going up to the penalty kicks. What a World Cup, man! I'll never forget that World Cup.
Yeah, well, it's soccer in this country has gone from strength to strength, and I think I credit a big part of that to the marketing and bringing in Beckham in the early
Yep.
2000s. I think that was probably a big shift in the culture of soccer here with the LA Galaxy, and
Yep.
it's brought more stars here. We totally digress. But you were in sport as a kid. Was that something that you thought was going to be your future, or you never got to that sort of level where you thought sport was going to be a path that you'd go down?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I never really, even though I played a lot, I was really good at soccer. I never really, that wasn't really my passion to pursue that type of stuff. Just because it's not an industry that I was particularly interested in pursuing anything like that. Um, so, right out of high school, what I ended up doing was in my senior year, I started taking courses for paramedic. And yeah, so during my senior year, I did a lot of after school classes. Then once I graduated from high school, I finished getting all the certifications and licenses that I needed to be a firefighter paramedic. And oddly enough, this was in Palm Beach County down in Florida, where I was a firefighter paramedic, and then I moved up to Maryland, um, and it was just a different environment in the firefighter paramedic world,
Mm.
and it just wasn't worth my time and effort anymore, just because of the volunteering. It's just a different structure in Maryland.
Mm.
And so that's where I kind of started doing painting contracting.
Okay.
I started my own business, did a lot of apartments, and this is kind of like my slight little segue into dealing with management companies, dealing with apartment properties. So I did a lot of the turnarounds for the apartment communities, painted and got it ready for the next person to move in.
Mm.
And then comes 2008, the financial crash here in the U.S., and that kind of greatly impacted business in terms of painting, and people kind of stuck around, spent less money. And so that's where I approached Robert at the time, and kind of was needing some work, and just wanted to change my outlook on my profession, and that's where him and we had a conversation, started working, and at the same time, you know, he couldn't take me on full time, so I kind of did him half, and I also worked for my father-in-law in the well business.
Okay.
So for 10 plus years, I did half of the well business and water treatment industry and half of the fitness industry. And so, you know, during those 10 years, I learned a lot. That's why it's like I put on several hats, because I can do, I'm a jack of all trades. Master of all, well, that's still to be determined. I feel like I am. I feel like I'm doing pretty good, pretty knowledgeable. I like to learn a lot of new stuff, and so yeah, in the RMS world, I came in as a tech. I'm sure when you interviewed Robert, and he probably told you the ins and outs of how he started. Most likely,
Yeah.
it wasn't just strictly fitness. I was with him in the evolution of the RMS world,
Mm.
with working on jacuzzi tubs, basketball hoops, electric fireplaces, what have you, and to the point where I'm at now.
Yeah, look, it's been obviously great to have sort of shared along a lot of the history of RMS and how it's developed. Your role now within the business, do you have an official title per se?
So my official title is, at least to the property managers, is a senior commercial amenity specialist and designer. But within the RMS world here, I'm the operations manager. I help assist Robert with the overall flow of business. But also, my main focus right now is establishing more new customers, establishing new relationships with manufacturers, with property managers, development companies, and yeah, and this is essentially a new role for me. I've been tech, I've been service manager, I've been operations manager to this. So, just it's really nice to see the evolution of the company and how we've taken it from 3 people to 17 plus people.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool to see, and now we're at the point where we're outgrowing this warehouse. It's unbelievable to see.
Yeah, Robert said there was a 10-year lease, and I don't know if it's gonna last that long. So, yeah, it's great to see some of that evolution and growth, though. So, mate, anything we're doing a short version sort
Yeah,
of
yeah.
interview here. Anything you think we should touch on?
Man, that's a great question. Let me think about that. I don't know, man. That's a great question. I think one of the things too that one of the reasons that I I enjoyed doing this aspect of this business is I'm always in the fitness industry, and I'm always around fitness equipment and cardio equipment and strength equipment, and it helps keep me focused on staying healthy, staying fit, because I'm always around the equipment. And also, it's not a good selling feature if you look like you've never touched a piece of equipment, you don't know what you're doing. So it's kind of hard to advertise to property managers and you know um, gym owners if you don't know what you're selling. Then why do they want to deal with you? And so that's one of the things that I enjoy. It helps keep me engaged, helps keep me focused and staying fit.
Yeah.
I wonder that question to you as well. What do you think?
Look, I think it's a great point. You have to a degree practice what you preach, and I don't think anybody expects us to be, male models with
Yeah.
cut and ripped abs and that
Right,
stereotypical,
right.
that stereotypical perception of our industry. And I actually like the fact that, the stereotype of the buff bodybuilder and, the ripped abs is becoming less and less
Yeah,
dominant.
agreed.
But I also do believe that, we do need to practice what we preach a little and, continue to try and lead healthy lives. And yeah, that's definitely, it's an enjoyable aspect of it is doing what we say with it. We're out to sell and practice what we preach is
Yeah.
important. So yeah,
And I think the other thing too, just to kind of bring out a separate point, especially in the sales world too, you you learn how to deal with several different personalities, several different people, and you learn how to navigate the difficulties in selling equipment. I don't want to be out there just to sell equipment, just to make money, just to sell and dump and run, basically, essentially. I want to create relationships because I want to be less of a headache. I want the gyms and the fitness equipment and that environment to be less of a headache to the property managers, to the gym owners, because sometimes, unfortunately, there's companies out there that just are concerned about selling equipment, and if it means that they have to sell a lesser grade equipment just because it's going to make the sale, that's not what I want. I don't
yeah.
want to do that because it's not a long-term solution for the business itself. It's probably a short-term gain for the individual, but not for companies, and that's kind of like what we like to focus on.
Yeah, look, it's challenging at times because our life cycle can be, 3 to 7 years potentially if we lose a sale.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people want to think as long term as that. It's certainly refreshing to hear someone like minded that, you may lose that sale, but maybe you go on to maintain that relationship with that customer over a longer period because you had some integrity up front. Can sound
Yeah.
a little cheesy maybe, but it's refreshing to hear that that's sort of a culture that you guys believe in. So
Yeah, it's
uh,
definitely a culture that we believe in. We try to, when we have our sales meetings and even tech meetings too, because we like to bring the techs in with the new product that's out there. And always, with when new products come out, it's never a perfect situation. There's always hiccups, things that need to be addressed. And once we know and we get that information, we relay that all that information to the techs down there because ultimately it's better customer service, it's customer retention. we're knocking about 1,000 out there, but at least we're trying, you know.
Being short and sweet, a little bit like Emily, but it was great to have you on as part 3 in the RMS fitness world.
It's part 3's got to be the best part, though.
Look, you know, we'll just leave it at that.
There you go. That's a good way to end it.
Thanks, Steve.